Howdy folks, welcome to TravyJsSpace here on YouTube, and welcome to another exciting, fun episode of Let's Talk, where we just talk. No games, no distractions, no problem. On today's episode, we're going to be jumping right into it here with our topic of the day. And the topic of today is albums to sit and listen to. And when I say sit and listen to, I mean sit and listen to. There's quite a few that come to mind when I think of albums that are really great to sit and listen to. When I was a kid growing up, I really relied heavily on my CD collection that I had that was ever expanding. It was always a big deal for me and a great privilege to go out and purchase a new CD. It really meant a lot to me because back in that time, when you would throw a CD on your CD player, you would listen to the whole album. There really wasn't much in the way of music streaming apps and things of that nature, which to this day I still don't use. I've used them in the past, Apple Music being the app of my choice when I had an iPhone. But I found it wasn't the same, with streaming music streaming apps. I found that it was a little too convenient and just kind of got rid of that beautiful aspect of taking in and appreciating the creativity of the artist and what their message is in each album. Because I find with each album there's an overall message, and there's kind of a feeling, there's an essence, there's a beauty in it that kind of gets foreshadowed when you're just kind of shuffling or going through a bunch of various different songs, just as is. So some of the albums I like to listen to are, well, first of all, one that really stands out to me, one that I didn't particularly listen to growing up, but have recently in the past few years, that I find is really kind of therapeutic and thought-provoking and kind of grounding, is Madonna's Ray of Light album. That album is it's arguably and debatably in the Madonna community one of Madonna's greatest albums. She really put in a lot of her heart and soul and creativity, and just her brilliance into that album. It's a lot more about life. It's about philosophy and just love and what that means to her. This was the first time too in this album where she kind of took a different creative approach. It was very alternative, experimental, and for the time, came out in 98, I believe. It was very different for her, but she really nailed it on the head. It ended up becoming a bestseller, I think, a #1. And a lot of people know the main song from that album, Ray of Light, which is powerful, incredible. It's just so uplifting and positive. But the whole album itself, there's a lot of really good tracks on there, like Skin, Candy Perfume Girl. I'm pretty sure Frozen is on that album as well. But it's one of those albums where, it's best to just sit down and listen to it in its entirety, whether you're writing in your journal or you're, just sketching. Maybe you're someone who likes to read and listen to music. It's definitely an album that puts you in a specific kind of place. But one that I particularly recommend. A lot of Madonna's albums, actually, if you're to sit and just kind of listen, take the time to understand the lyrics and stuff, you find that there's a lot of stuff going on in these albums of hers. There's a lot of dance, of course, very Madonna. It wouldn't be Madonna without some good dance anthems. But she does have a lot of ballads and deeper meaningful songs that really kind of make you feel strong and empowered. And I think Ray of Light is one of those albums that are just absolutely incredible. It never gets old. It's timeless, really. And I definitely think that that follows through with her next few albums afterwards. Music from 2000. That album is incredible as well. Love Profusion, that's not on that one. Hello. Don't Tell Me from Music. Title of one of the albums is gonna bother me now. Well, anyways, that one is also a deep, thought-provoking album, and it just really gets you thinking about life and the way you see life, and the way that we go about our lives and such. It's very, very incredible and brilliant, thought-provoking indeed. A lot of Madonna's albums, including, like I said, Music, and then afterwards American Life that came out in 2003. That one's a very deep, kind of more of a rebellious album. That one's really kind of gets you in the mood to, yeah, this is who I am, and, I don't care if you like it, and I'm gonna scream to the world, that I'm right, and I was right, and I believe in this, and yeah, so that, every album of hers, I find, and when I say album, I'm meaning its entirety, the full album, the full message in each of her albums is different than the last, her one album, Confessions on a Dance Floor, which is 70s disco, heavily influenced, as much as it is a lot of different disco ballad or disco anthems that get you moving and make you feel like this resurgence of disco energy. It does also have a lot of deeper, meaningful notes in it, and lyrics that, again, just really get you thinking, thought-provoking and feeling. It's like an emotional release. But it's kind of steering away from Madonna. There's one other artist that I find just always never fails to actually alter my mood or put me in a place where I'm feeling something different. I'm feeling something unique and very personal and intimate. And that artist is Björk. I love Björk. I think I'm saying that right. I always feel like I want to say Björk. But Björk, potato. Oops, there we go. She is an incredible artist. She is probably my all-time favorite artist of any other artist. She's an incredible experimental and just alternative artist that takes so many different sounds. She's much of a sound person. Every little sound that she uses in her songs come from a genuine place. They come from an authentic root, She uses a lot of man-made sounds and records those to use as part of the song. And her messages in her albums are extremely, extremely brilliant. There are very deep meanings. Very deep sounds, very deep messages. The lyrics to a lot of them are eye-opening. I've cried a lot during her albums. There's a few that just really take you to a place. I don't know that's just me personally. I find that there's a lot of journeys I've had in my life and a lot of challenges that I've been through where Björk has really spoken those messages through her song. And like I say, I keep reiterating that listening to the full album is so important. I think it's just such a dying activity that's really important still with music, is to sit down and listen to the full album and see what you get from that. A lot of albums these days, they don't give off that same meaning. They don't have the same principles and structure, I find. So it kind of goes to show you these differences in creative approaches and output and such, creativity levels and efforts and things of that nature. But when it comes to Björk, there's quite a lot of albums, all of her albums actually, that's one artist I can say all of her albums that she's had, her full discography has changed my life, changed my perceptions of the world around me, about myself, helped to give me validation with a lot of different aspects in my life and in my journey. But one album in particular in her discography that really resonates with me and I recommend others to take on and listen to is Vespertine. Vespertine, I want to say it came out in 2001. That song is just littered with incredible substance and deep, deep meaning, and just this beautiful connection with earth and with her soul and her life, you know, and her purpose, which relates so much with me because that's something I'm very focused on myself, is my purpose and my life and my soul. I'm a very spiritual person, and I found that each one of her songs on that album were very deeply spiritual. Some of my favorites from there, my number one favorite is Pagan Poetry. Aurora is just a gorgeous, gorgeous tune that just makes you feel like you're in this giant, giant fur coat in the middle of this blizzard up on a mountaintop. You know, you're transformed there. You're taken there by her. She takes you into so many places in her albums, but in this one in particular, it's a very snowy, cold, but comfortable vibe. Some of her other albums, though, they kind of get you a little more enraged, a little more tuned up, you know, wanting more or demanding change. You know, she's very good at provoking those thoughts and feelings. And when you sit down and listen to Vespertine from front to back, you'll find that you are kind of looking at yourself and your purpose in such a bigger image, like a bigger perception, you know, the big picture kind of, so to speak. But Björk is a powerful, amazing, brilliant, genius, creative woman that I could go on and on and on about. But she's definitely got one of those albums that, or a whole discography that you can't go wrong with. So if you're looking for albums to sit down and to just listen to put the CD in and play, you know, front to back, and let it play through, and to actually consciously listen to and let into your consciousness, Björk is definitely one of those artists that you should definitely consider listening to. One other album I can think of, which is totally different than Madonna and Björk, there's one album that makes me feel really romantic, really intimate and soft. It makes me feel euphoric, I guess, so to speak. And that would be Paul McCartney's My Valentine album. Whew. That one, if you want to hear the most romantic, to me anyways, I believe in my heart, I haven't heard anything come close, but to me, that album is the most romantic, passionate album I have ever listened to in my life. It never fails to put me in this kind of sleepy, miasmic kind of essence. You know, I want to fall in love. I feel like he's my lover, and he's just connecting in my heart, to my heart and my soul. Like, of course, it's Paul McCartney, so that already, regardless of whatever he's saying, makes it 10 times more easier to gravitate towards in the heart. But the way that he sings these songs, these love ballads, they're just so passionate and just so relaxing. You know, I used to often, when I needed to relax and ground myself and forget of my stresses and let go, I would put that album on, light some candles, and lay in the tub. Oh, and it would just do the trick every single time. That album's incredible. Incredible. He takes on a lot of, it's not like Paul McCartney. You know, not a lot of rock and roll going on. It's a lot more, he takes on a lot more of the classics, his own renditions of classics from the 30s, 40s, a lot of big band and stuff. But he dials it right down, very raw, a lot of acoustics and such. Most of it, I think, if not all of it, is acoustics. Nothing upbeat and crazy. Some of them get a little higher up and a little faster, but not too much that you lose that essence. The whole time you are just in tune with this romantic kind of escapade with him, and he's taking you on it, and you're just set sail. You are butter in his hands, let me tell you. I mean, maybe not butter, more like margarine, because margarine, you can actually, butter is a little hard at first. So you're like a margarine. Putty in his hands, I guess, actually is the term I'm thinking of here. So yeah, definitely a good one if you're looking for something to relax to, feel like you're being serenaded. He delivers. And that album came out back in 2011, I believe. Incredible album. And again, like I say, reiterating for the third time now, it's very important, I feel anyways, to listen to the albums front to back, to really understand the artist's message and the artist's what they're trying to share, you know, and put out there. There's a great message behind so many great albums that should, I feel like, deserve to be listened to in full. Now, I know you could also, some of you are probably saying, well, I could do that on Apple Music, I could do that on Spotify. And you could. I mean, for me, it's not the same. For me, I need to put the CD on and let it be its separate entity, and then my flip phone's over here, and I'm here writing something in the middle, you know? I like my separate entities when it comes to physical devices or things, objects. Certainly not the personal, have everything in one place. It's just not fun to me. I feel like it just takes the creativity and the fun out of stuff, and the mystery and the curiosity, which I just love. It fuels my life, mystery and curiosity, wonder. So yeah, but you could, sorry, if you are sitting there saying to yourself, I could do it on Spotify, you very well could, you know, find the album on whatever streaming service you're using and click the first track and let it play through. That's also an option. But I think just the major point that I'm trying to convey is that there's a really deeper understanding and connection when it comes to listening to the full album. You know, a lot of songs don't get heard at all, and people think, oh, that's this person, and you think, yeah, you liked their other song on this album. You're telling me you didn't hear this one? Which can be a bit of a pet peeve for me, because I really appreciate music, and yeah, I just think an album should be heard and listened to in full to get the full vibe, you know? I think that's the artist's intention anyways, is to pass along a different vibe and to put you in a different place, to take you on an adventure and take you out of yourself for a moment. And that's why I think a lot of us appreciate many artists, or should anyways still. I know a few years ago we did, but things are starting to change a bit. I find a lot of artists these days are getting appreciated or placed on a higher platform just for singles and then remixes of that single. And then they're not really appreciating what other material in full that the artist has to provide. And I find if we did that, I feel like we would start to notice a lack of creativity in the music industry in the modern world. But that's just me. I'm an old soul. You all know that. So I see things a lot differently, and I live in a different time, you know. So, but I do feel like that's one thing that I kind of see slipping, is this idea that an album should be heard front to back, and that it's just something that's not so frequent or normal or habitual anymore. So definitely go back, you know, to some of your favorite artists and take a moment, you know, listen to the album, whether it is on Spotify or you have the CD. pop the CD in and just listen to it front to back. I find a CD's better only because too, like, I have so many reasons, but for me, it separates. Like, I don't have an iPhone, but I know when I did, if it was on the streaming site, I'd be tempted to go on my phone and then just have it playing in the background. But you're not listening to the album when you're doing that. You know, you're distracting yourself with other apps or the internet or whatever. Maybe you're texting someone back. So I find that kind of takes away from the whole experience. It's like meditation. When you're meditating, it's the whole idea of clearing your mind, right? And inviting in a new feeling or energy or vibration from the universe. And you're focused very hard on that. And after a while, your mind does start to clear out and start to heal itself or put itself in a positive direction. If there's a phone in the way of that, or something else, television, what have you, then you're not going to get a meaningful, healthy, soul gratifying, experience. You're not going to get the full effects of the meditation. So I feel like that's synonymous with album listening too, because music is therapy. It's just kind of the same. It's very healing. It has a lot of healing properties, and it can do wonders for people that just need some support or need anything. There's an album for everything, So I think it's just really important to listen to an album and go through and not have any distractions. So I think a CD is so much more preferable, because for me anyway, is the idea of putting a CD in, closing it. Whatever's going to play is going to play off that CD. You can't jump to other albums, artists, a shuffleboard, whatever. No algorithms, just what the artist intended, and that's it. So definitely give it a try. If you're someone that can't just sit with a meditation or can't get into that place, music is a fabulous alternative. I like to do both and sit and listen and also do my meditation in the morning and stuff. But albums can really help. If you're in need of that, definitely give it a shot. And I definitely suggest Björk, Madonna, that Paul McCartney album, My Valentine. And don't be afraid to experiment. Look it up. Maybe there's people online that have broken down how the album feels to them. I know in this modern day age there's always a lot of negativity, so try not to read the critics out there who just kind of want to rain on the parades all the time. Everyone has their own perceptions, right? Try to find your own, think with a clear consciousness and no judgment, and just get into it. Maybe that will provoke or help you to do other projects off your phone. Maybe you are an artist and you're really gifted and you need something to help calm you or guide you or give you inspiration. Album listening in full on a CD will really do that for you. Maybe you're a storyteller, and you're writing a book and you're coming up with ideas for a setting, a plot, characters, character personalities, stuff like that. This is a great outlet to help spur and initiate all of that inspiration. Or maybe you're just venting. You got your diary, you're getting things out, you're trying to purge and get it all out on paper to really let go of whatever you're going through. Again, an album would be perfect for that. So would meditation, but that's for another episode. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that. Album listening, albums to sit and listen to. It's an important thing, and I think as we move forward in this world, I really don't think that's something that should be forgotten and kind of shadowed and left on the back burner. It's really a really important thing, and the artists that you love and admire would really appreciate it. I'm sure that you took the time to listen to them in full, as well as if you were a musician, I'm sure if you put yourself in their shoes, that's probably what you would want your goal to be, is that people listen to your album in full and maybe understand your perception a bit better as an artist, and kind of give you an understanding of what position, how they use their position and their platform, what messages or vibrations are they putting out there with their platform, their power, really. Could really change your mind on some artists, for good or for bad. But yeah, just something to think about. Food for thought. Alright, folks, that's it for me. If you have any questions about albums, maybe ones I've mentioned, or if you want some more suggestions from me, I love music. I have so many up in here and in here and on my shelf that I would be more than happy to share with you guys, especially if there's something specific you're feeling or looking to feel or looking to branch out and expand on mentally, consciously. Let me know. You know, pick my brain. Get down there in the comments and ask away. Or if you have any suggestions for me of albums that are really worth listening to in full, by all means, drop the comments and I will listen. I'll let you know what I got from it. So yeah, and if you do have any suggestions for any future episode topics that we can discuss together, like I always say, get down there in the comments and let your heart just spew it on out. Whatever topics you think we should discuss, I'm all ears, and chances are it'll be featured in the next episode. All right? Okay. Well, thank you guys so very much for watching. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. I'm very grateful. And, you know, the pleasure is all mine. I love doing this. And I'm really happy that Let's Talk's back. It gives us an opportunity to just chat and be real with one another and just kind of get honest and see how we're feeling. No matter how bad it hurts or how good it feels. Two sides to every coin. All right. Toodles for now. Ta-ta. Ciao. Till next time. Howdy, folks. Did you like that video? Well, then why don't you go ahead and give that thumbs up a smackaroo. Don't want to miss out on the next episode? Give the subscribe button some love and make sure to turn your notifications on. That way I can give you a bell ring, let you know dinner is served. Still need more to chew on? Take a bite of my new YouTube Instagram account at TravyJsSpace to keep up to date with the channel's inner workings and news of upcoming projects and episodes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.